Welcome to the world of lotteries. It's not all about big wins and dreams. There's a sneaky side too, with secrets and tricks that the government knows all too well. Let's uncover what's going on behind those lottery tickets. Every year, many Americans purchase lottery tickets from locations such as gas stations and grocery stores. You can get them from a person behind the counter or a flashy machine. These tickets can cost anywhere from a few dollars to $100. As more people buy tickets, the prize money, known as the jackpot, grows larger, sometimes reaching as much as $2 billion. Despite everyone's best efforts, only one person wins. Sometimes the prize is split between people, but usually everyone else ends up spending money and not winning anything. Lotteries have existed for a long time, and governments frequently run them. In 2021, Americans will have spent more than $100 billion on lottery tickets. This makes us question whether this is a good way to spend our money. But before we talk about that, let's go back in time to see where the whole lottery system started. Lottery history. Lotteries have been around for a long time and have been used by various governments to raise funds for a variety of purposes. Lotteries, for example, may have been used in ancient China to aid in the construction of large projects such as the Great Wall. It's even suggested that they used carrier pigeons to notify people who won. Many countries, including Rome, the Netherlands, and England, have used lotteries for a variety of purposes. It was used to pay for wars and large construction projects, and to encourage people to relocate to new areas. Lotteries have grown increasingly popular in recent years. Governments use them extensively to generate revenue, and they frequently attempt to entice certain types of people to participate. This can be problematic at times because it may encourage people who can't afford to purchase tickets. So while lotteries have been around for a long time, they've evolved dramatically over time and are now a significant source of revenue for governments. Modern lottery systems. Lottery jackpots have skyrocketed in recent years, with record-breaking sums making headlines. For example, in March 2018, Richard Wall of New Jersey won a whopping $533 million, and in 2016, the Powerball jackpot soared to an unprecedented $1.6 billion. This increase in prize money is undeniably exciting, but the reality is that your chances of winning have never been lower, thanks to deliberate marketing strategies designed to stack the deck against you. In the United States, the Multi-State Lottery Association administers two major interstate lotteries, Mega Millions and Powerball. Powerball was first introduced in 1988 as Lotto America, and Mega Millions, formerly known as the Big Game, debuted in 1996. These lotteries have grown into massive businesses, enticing participants with the promise of enormous jackpots, while making it increasingly difficult for players to win. The Mega Millions lottery, developed in collaboration with several states, is now regarded as a model for modern lottery systems. It pools resources to increase jackpots and attract a larger number of players. With prizes that frequently exceed $20 million, the allure of gambling is prominently displayed. Mega Millions mechanics are straightforward. Players select 6 numbers, the first ranging from 1 to 70 and the last from 1 to 25. Alternatively, the players can be assigned random numbers generated by an algorithm. During the draw, numbered balls are randomly selected, and matching these numbers secures the jackpot, which is usually set at 20 mil. Many Americans eagerly purchase tickets, which cost only $2 each, in the hopes of winning a life-changing prize. The frequency of Mega Millions drawings, which occur twice weekly, provides ample opportunities for individuals to try their luck. In the United States, there are numerous lotteries to choose from, ranging from large multi-state draws to instant scratch-off games. Although they're all managed by the same nonprofit organization, they provide distinct experiences. Scratch-offs, for example, provide instant gratification, but can be messy due to the latex. Then there are smaller, more frequent lotteries that have higher odds but smaller jackpots. Odds of winning the lottery. Let's talk about the big jackpot lotteries and their odds. One statistician crunched the numbers and came up with a staggering figure. Your chances of winning on a single ticket are approximately 1 in 302 million. Wrap your head around that. It's a staggering number. So when you consider those odds, it's like attempting to comprehend a number so large that it's beyond ordinary comprehension. To understand how likely it is to win the lottery jackpot, consider this. The chances of winning are 1 in 300 mil. That's approximately the total population of the United States. If every single person in the United States, including babies, received a lottery ticket, only one would win. To put it another way, even if you gave lottery tickets to every man, woman, and child in the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain, there would only be one winner. Remember that purchasing more tickets does not increase your chances of winning. It remains a slim chance regardless of how many tickets you have. In 2010, the odds of winning the Mega Millions jackpot were 1 in 175 million, which was not particularly favorable. However, revisions made in 2013 reduced those odds to 1 in 258 million, making each ticket 1/3 less likely to win. Fast forward to October 2017, when Mega Millions changed the odds again, giving each ticket a 1 in 302 million chance of winning the jackpot. This means that your chances of winning have been nearly cut in half over 5 years. To add insult to injury, the ticket price has doubled, making each ticket half as effective but twice as expensive. The question arises, why make an already improbable dream even more unattainable? The answer lies in the profit motive. The Multi-State Lottery Association stands to profit handsomely by lowering the odds of winning while increasing jackpot sizes and ticket prices. Many people are unaware of the changes made to the game in recent years, drawn solely by the prospect of winning hundreds of millions of dollars. They're willing to spend a few dollars for a chance at the jackpot, believing the adage, "You can't win if you don't play." And there's no denying that this strategy works. Lottery advertisement. One common tactic used in these advertisements is the use of phrases like "believe" or "believe in something bigger." They subtly encourage people to focus on improbable dreams, such as winning the lottery, rather than confronting the harsh realities of failure that are often associated with such activities. These commercials attempt to manipulate viewers by presenting extravagant options, such as purchasing a skyscraper in downtown New York with a jungle on top, which most rational people would not consider. Moreover, they often use influencers for the advertisement. Furthermore, these advertisements strive to make their message as relatable to the average person as possible, to elicit emotions, and to create a sense of connection with the audience. This all raises the big question, why does the government maintain a monopoly on these gambling games? The role of governments in running lotteries. The government's monopoly on gambling games such as lotteries stems from a variety of economic factors. Some economists argue that gambling is a natural human inclination, so why not harness it to generate revenue for the government? However, this raises questions about the allocation of these funds. Where does lottery money go? Consider the example of a large lottery, such as Powerball, with a total prize pool of $100 million. The jackpot is funded with half of this amount, $40 million, while the remaining $10 million is used to award smaller prizes. However, there's more to the story. Despite advertising a $100 million prize, only 50% of the proceeds from ticket sales are returned to the players. So where does the remaining $50 million go? Businesses that sell tickets, such as gas stations and convenience stores, receive a portion of the proceeds, 6%. Another segment, 9%, covers lottery-related expenses, such as advertising and employee salaries. These expenses are handled by private companies hired by the government to run the lottery. According to Powerball's website, this leaves us with $35 million to support good causes through lottery proceeds. The definition of good causes varies from state to state. In many states, this money is directed towards education, such as in Virginia in 2022, where lottery proceeds contributed nearly $780 million to the public education budget. For example, in 2006, North Carolina launched the North Carolina Education Lottery, touting it as a win-win situation. People eagerly lined up to participate, convinced that by purchasing a ticket, they are supporting children's education. However, the reality is less benevolent, with only about 30% of lottery revenue going towards education. It is fascinating how gambling can help education, but there is a catch. Lottery proceeds do not always result in increased school budgets as promised. Instead, it frequently simply replaces existing funds, keeping the overall funding situation unchanged. Furthermore, there is the issue of fairness. The distribution of lottery money tends to favor wealthier schools, widening the gap between them and less affluent ones. Yet, there's a silver lining to the lottery's contributions. In some places, such as Colorado, lottery profits are used to preserve parks and wildlife, ensuring that these natural resources are available for all to enjoy. Similarly, in Nebraska, funds are directed toward fun and community-building events such as the State Fair, which benefit residents across the state. Perhaps the most unexpected use of lottery proceeds occurs in Minnesota, where a portion of the money is used to assist people suffering from a gambling addiction. It's a poignant irony, using the very funds derived from gambling to address its adverse effects on individuals and communities. In essence, while the lottery system appears simple at first glance, its impact and implications extend far beyond simply funding education, affecting various aspects of society in both positive and unexpected ways. Governments use lottery funds to fund a variety of public initiatives, including infrastructure projects and public programs, which is a wise financial move. But why do they use this unconventional method of collecting money? We'll dive into that shortly. Now onto the burning question. What happens to the few who do win the lottery jackpot? Imagine the excitement of winning the advertised $67 million jackpot, only to discover that the actual payout is much lower, hovering around $40 mil. When winners are given two options for claiming their windfall, they must confront a sobering reality. The first option is a lump sum payment, in which the government withholds a significant 24% for federal taxes, plus additional deductions by the state, roughly 9.75% in D.C. As a result, the initially enticing $67 million prize is reduced to approximately $26 mil, which winners can cash in right away. But wait, there is another option: the slow and steady approach. If winners choose to receive their winnings over 29 years, the government retains the funds and invests them in bonds to earn interest. The payout is expected to be around the advertised $67 mil when completed. However, this amount is subject to taxes and deductions along the way. Ultimately, if winners choose the installment plan, they'll receive approximately $43 million. Regardless of whether the option is lump sum or installments, the government retains a sizable portion of the lottery winnings. It's yet another instance in which lotteries prove to be a profitable venture for those in power. Now, let's step back and look at the big picture of lottery revenue in 2020. The lottery generated a staggering $27 billion in revenue for both the U.S. federal and local governments. This substantial sum raises concerns about the necessity of such revenue streams, particularly given that we already have a well-established system for funding the government: taxes. So why does the government opt to operate a gambling system? The origins of this decision traced back to the history of lotteries in the United States. For a considerable period, lotteries were banned due to vehement public opposition. However, in the 1960s, New Hampshire faced a fiscal dilemma. With no sales or income taxes in place, the state grappled with funding its schools adequately. In a stroke of creativity, New Hampshire enacted legislation allowing for a sweepstakes to generate funds specifically for education. This innovative approach proved successful, presumably bringing in much-needed revenue. The success story of New Hampshire piqued the interest of other states facing similar financial challenges. They recognized the possibility of converting unpopular taxes into a more appealing and acceptable form, the lottery. This novel approach to revenue generation has gained traction, particularly amid calls for lower taxes. In an era of tax aversion, lotteries emerged as a viable government solution. After years of prohibition, they made a comeback, evolving into massive, multi-state lotteries. As a result, governments began to see significant increases in tax revenue, funds that exceeded what traditional tax methods alone could provide. Who bears the lottery burden? So, who bears the brunt of these voluntary taxes, also known as lotteries? Well, it usually affects those who are already struggling financially. Research consistently shows that people with lower incomes and less education are the most likely to play lottery games. Even though their chances of winning are slim, they continue to spend a large portion of their money on lottery tickets in the hopes of striking rich. Essentially, the lottery serves as a tax on those who may not fully understand the mathematical probabilities involved. Some refer to it as a tax on people who don't know math. This tax burden disproportionately affects low-income consumers, with reports showing that those earning less than $35,000 per year spend more than twice as much on lottery tickets as those earning more than $100,000. If the government raises taxes on the wealthy and middle class even further, it risks losing support and facing political consequences. Similarly, raising taxes on the poor is likely to spark unrest. As a result, an alternative approach is required to generate revenue, while minimizing public dissatisfaction. One strategy could be to tap into the desires of poorer people to improve their financial situation quickly and easily. The government could create a lottery-style system by leveraging their aspirations and conscience. In this scenario, citizens pay a small fee for the chance to win a large prize, often in the millions of dollars. Participation in the lottery is framed as a chance for anyone, regardless of financial situation, to potentially change their lives. The message is intended to appeal specifically to those experiencing financial difficulties, implying that purchasing a ticket could be their ticket out of poverty. However, it's critical to recognize that the chances of winning the lottery are extremely slim, with statistics indicating that one is more likely to be harmed by a vending machine than to win the jackpot. Despite this, the allure of a life-changing payout entices many people to participate, providing a steady source of revenue for the government with little opposition from the public. Furthermore, there is a significant racial disparity in lottery participation, with people of color purchasing tickets more frequently than their white counterparts. Furthermore, studies show that neighborhoods with lottery retailers have higher poverty rates, indicating a link between lottery availability and economic vulnerability. In some states, lotteries generate more revenue for the government than corporate income taxes. It's an interesting fact that, in essence, poor people pay more in taxes than large corporations, and they do so willingly, often with a sense of hope and optimism. Some states even allow for a portion of paychecks to be automatically allocated to lottery tickets, emphasizing the paradoxical situation. Even if you are the 1 in 300 million to win the lottery, you'll still have to pay nearly 40% in taxes. In the world of lotteries, the government effectively serves as the house in a casino, always winning. Unfortunately, the poor are the ones who consistently lose this game. This reality raises questions about the government's reliance on the desperation of those who are less educated or financially disadvantaged to generate revenue. It's a system that frequently fails to reinvest adequately in the communities that helped fund it through ticket sales and taxes. So, that's the lottery. The question is, why do we continue to engage in this practice? Well, it all boils down to a sound economic argument. Humans have a natural inclination towards gambling. It's a behavior deeply ingrained in our society. So why not regulate it and generate some extra revenue? However, behind this seemingly rational argument are private interests that want to maintain the status quo. Consider the companies that make lottery tickets, as well as the materials used for scratch-offs such as latex. They rake in significant profits and actively lobby to ensure the lottery's survival. As a result, the lottery continues to exist and is likely to stay. Human nature being what it is, combined with the necessity of taxation for governance, makes this possible. But should we rely on gambling to replenish government coffers? The truth is that the lottery as it currently operates is essentially a tax on the less fortunate. While it generates revenue, it frequently fails to reward those who contribute the most. Claims that lottery proceeds benefit education or other worthwhile causes can be misleading. Let us call it what it is: a tax that disproportionately affects the economically disadvantaged.